Waits for that lead, which now comes from Neitz. He mightn't get to the contest. Well, a couple of demons almost spoiled each other. Miller and Holland, the latter, managed to drag it down.
They've got no problems at the moment marking the ball inside 50 Melbourne. Miller and Holland, we know Neitz hasn't got on the end of it yet.
He might just hear Gary. It's out wide. He'll take it. About 30 metres out, a very tight angle, but the skipper, who now trying to just crib 4 or 5 metres, his first mark of the afternoon, will shoot on goal.
Just wide, that would be the only concern. I think there's as I said earlier, not much pressure around that. Everyone's trying to line up. I think the discipline for Melbourne's got to be to keep it open for Neitz, give him an opportunity to push up the ground into that middle corridor.
David Neitz, a real confidence goal kicker. If he can nail this, I suspect his afternoon might turn around pretty quickly. Very tight angle. This for the Demons' second of the day. Drop punt on its way. Not a bad effort. Not a bad effort at all. And David Neitz, from a tight angle, gets the goal.
Hit the nail on the head, Mark. We've seen David Neitz often, Brian, in the first quarter have shots at goal and miss, and then end up having a pretty dirty day in front of goal. But on this occasion, he kicked very truly, and that could set him up.
That would lift his confidence, there's no doubt about it. He led and presented well, marked it in the hands, which is always a sign of a player in form or in touch with his hands anyway.
Johnson laid the tackle. Coming through was Wheatley. Across to Reid. Throws it on the boot to the 50. The son of problem for Holland. He couldn't get anywhere near the footy. Uze, Robertson in support towards the boundary. Escorting him is Boyd. Robertson keeps it in cleverly. Neitz, taken off the contest, will get the free kick.
Great effort, Russell Robertson. The ball was almost given up. It was out of bounds. He kept it in and put it into a dangerous spot. And when you put the ball into a dangerous area, defenders get very nervous and a bit anxious, and the free kick was certainly there against Harris. So David Neitz will certainly kick his second goal for the afternoon.
His 51st for the season. This to give Melbourne a 9-point lead at the start of the second quarter, which he duly does.
Well, Philip Reid, boys, he's going head-to-head at the moment with Scott West in the middle of the ground, the former West Coast Eagles. Not a renowned possession winner, but right now he has had 9 possessions and Scotty West has had 9 possessions, so that's quite incredible.
Philip Reid, not a bad story after being discarded by the West Coast Eagles, more known in the West for his role in the infamous Western Derby brawl, but he's come across to Melbourne and playing some very good footy.
They like his hard edge, that's what they do like.
Away, gave it to West, handball smothered. Bruce just covers the ground so effortlessly, doesn't he? Kick forward to half forward, Holland on the lead, couldn't mark, got it at ground level. Grant, good tackle. Vardy kept it alive. Gilby needs to run him down, put pressure on him. The delivery to Neitz was really good. Neitz was marked directly in front. And has Harris hurt himself here?
I'm not sure. It'd be bad news if he has. Bit of a party trick from Vardy on the boundary. Just made something of nothing. Gilby's still going to make that adjustment. Did a very good job on Aaron Davey, but a different player now, Peter Vardy, and that was a beautiful use of the footy.
His third mark, David Neitz, has kicked a goal in each of the quarters so far, and this would keep the run going. The skipper from directly in front. Kick on the way. Umpire a little bit lefty. It's there. Neitz likes it. Umpire says yes. He's got his third.
Well, we'll have a look at it again. The tackle from Grant on Holland was great, but just here, this should never have got away. That is through the legs. Lindsay Gilby just needed to corral him to the boundary and get that ball out of bounds. Instead, he got turned around and the ball ends up in the hands of the skipper, Neitz, who kicks truly. So, they're still on a learning curve. Lindsay Gilby been around long enough, though.
Fried through half-back, delivery to Vardy, spoiled from behind. Reid gathers the bouncing ball off the outside of his boot, finds Miller at half-forward. Red and blue jumpers streaming forward. Vardy loses the right boot, kicks with some penetration without it towards full forward. Robertson, Neitz! Free kick. And Melbourne will get the footy. It'll be David Neitz, the recipient.
And there's Nathan Brown in the front of screen. You just saw him walking off. You wonder why he gets so much of the footy. He ran from one end of the ground to the other with no hesitation. You see him running in there, he's pushing in for the crumb. His man Eagleton is about 50 metres away. Neitz good enough to take a super contested mark, which is the great strength of David Neitz, but the running of Brown is quite phenomenal.
3 goals next to his name for David Neitz. And he should slot this home for number 4, which he does. Goal to the Demons.
Well, David Neitz, I think we said at the start of the game, loves playing against the Western Bulldogs. He has racked up 46 goals in his past 11 matches against the Dogs. He's polled 3 best on grounds in that time. Now, at the other end of the ground, you can just see, whether you see Nathan Brown in shot or not, but he was involved in that passage of play, and he was about 10 metres away from this passage of play. Had there been a crumb.
Remaining. Street books it behind. Brilliantly robbed by Green. Gave it to Uze. Around his body. The ball stays in the field of play. McLean gets rid of Smith. Broadbridge takes on cross. Hand pass to Reid, who pumps it forward. Here comes Neitz. The ball was perfectly weighted. Split a couple of Bulldogs in the process. And David Neitz now will go back and shoot on goal.
I haven't seen Rowan Smith have quite an afternoon as he's having today. And, well, David Neitz could have had, you would have thought, 6 or 7 at this stage. His kicking hasn't been great.
4 goals, 2 today, Gary.
He missed a couple outside too, I think.
The distance will not be a factor. The accuracy won't either. Doesn't deviate off the boot. That's what Melbourne wanted.
Well, he has been in, I reckon, by David Neitz's standards, probably just ordinary form, but he keeps kicking 2s and 3s and 4s, and now he's got 5 this afternoon without being dominant. Harris was very good early. He'll explode before the season's out, David Neitz. I reckon there's a big bag of double figures in the big skipper before. I think they've got the Hawks coming up and also Richmond, is that right?
Yep.
So there's a big opportunity for him.
He had trouble.
Wheatley, the Thumpaway cross, goes and gets it. He was tackled. Reid, Brown it was, went in, spun out of action. Hit the centre for Neitz. Eyes only for the ball and took a nice mark.
Funny game footy. Ryan Harris attacked that last contest and left David Neitz. David Neitz just let him go. Harris ended up winning the ball and rebounded outside of the defensive 50, and then, such has been Melbourne's dominance since half-time, it came straight back in his face and he was nowhere to be seen.
7th mark inside 50 for David Neitz. In he comes, kicks from just outside 50, looking for goal number 6. He's got it.
Yes, he's had it's not bad when you jag 6 and you're just having, a pretty good solid day. But look, the turnover here cost Brian Harris. He did the right thing. He attacked, worked hard, won the footy, kicked it out of the defensive half. It just came straight back in his face, and Neitz, he was sitting back. He would say it's a very good decision to stay at home. That's what Neitz would say.